Hi, I'm Dan at IT Security Guru, today with Sue Milton, who is Immediate Past President at ISACA. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dan.
We're going to talk about integrated strategy and around governance, risk and compliance and fitting that into your business. So let's go over GRC very briefly. You know, governance, risk and compliance. Our business is doing that. It's part of their business now.
Our business is doing it. I think the simple answer is yes. If the question is how well are they doing it, then that is going to be a very different answer. Some are going to be doing it well, some are going to be paying lip service to it, focusing much more on the compliance than on the governance aspects, and the various shades in between.
You know, we talked about an integrated strategy. What did you mean by an integrated strategy around, especially around personal data?
I think what we're looking at is saying that all organisations use data from which they obtain information to take decisions that provides the knowledge, the corporate knowledge, and at some point that becomes intellectual property. There are different data sets. Some of them are going to be personal data about their customers, clients, their own staff, and quite rightly we have legislation in place that says protect it. Because if you don't, then you are liable. Now I think that is definitely right. People must focus on that protection of personal data, but the principles behind it are very sound. And I think that in an integrated data management policy, the strategy behind that is to validate all data, when it can go public, when it must be private, and apply the same principles as we do for the protection of personal data.
Right. And yeah, obviously that's part of compliance as well, because we talked about GRC there. You know, protecting data is part of the compliance really of any business, I would guess, because of data protection rules.
Yes, but I think it's definitely part of compliance, but I think what firms need to focus on is compliance is a form of accountability that assumes you have the governance structures in place to make the best use and protect all the information you have appropriately. So it's basically saying you as a corporate, you have business objectives of which you will need data sets to provide you with the information to give you the intellectual property. Clearly in your strategy for your business, you need to think about how you use, manipulate, store, share that information and under what circumstances. And your target audience, sometimes internal, sometimes external, is extremely important to know who should be able to see what and who can change it. Now, there's a lot of governance that then becomes a compliance exercise about data protection. So my point of view is on the strategy, apply the same principles to all your data. And that way you actually construct a framework for good governance. You can build a strategy that manages the risk through the security policies appropriate to the data set at any particular point in time.
I see.
And then it should be a given that you've got the compliance there, because it's now become part of the holistic whole of how you manage your data.
So an overarching policy basically.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're not seen, governance, risk and compliance are not seen as separate things. They're all very much assessing the risk, applying the appropriate governance framework through your security policies, your controls and your practices, and then compliance is almost a given at the end. Integrated.
Integrated. Thank you very much, Sue.
My pleasure.
Thank you.